Okay, what's up? Thursday, April 20th, 2017. Rich Van Tassel back with you, finishing up the recap of the last night's games that we missed. We just did the Oklahoma City and Houston one, put that up. The Golden State Warriors take a 2-0 series lead. They really trounced the Portland Trailblazers last night, winning by 29. The Trailblazers won the second quarter 29-22 and 27-23. The Golden State Warriors won the fourth quarter. Now, obviously, the fourth quarter with a big lead to still win by 4 points when you're almost winning by 30 for the game. Obviously a team like Portland could come back, but in the second quarter, 29-22, you're saying that's still a game that's in hand, so to speak, and Portland was able to play in that regard. But the first quarter, Golden State 33-17. The third quarter, 28-12 in favor of the Golden State Warriors. So when Golden State had to, they were able to ramp up the defense. And you look at the numbers, Damian Lillard, 12 points, 5 of 17 shooting. CJ McCollum, 11 points, 4 of 17 shooting. Evan Turner, 2 of 7 shooting, 5 points. That is 28 points on 7 of 24, 11 of 41 shooting between the guards who played so well in the other game. Now, remember, we said that Portland can be able to score with the Golden State Warriors. They clearly did not in this game, but obviously when Lillard, Turner, and McCollum have a game like that, and by the way, it was minus 33 for Lillard, minus 14 for Turner, minus 26 for CJ McCollum. This is the game you're going to get where Golden State is going to completely pound the Portland Trailblazers. Now, Golden State's defense is good. I'm not going to necessarily say it was all just a bad game where, all three of these guys just decided they were going to go into a funk at once. No, Golden State has capable defenders, and certainly they showed it in this game. But for the most part, I would say in this series, which I'm expecting to be a sweep, possibly a one-game win for the Portland Trailblazers, that Portland, for a majority of this series, as they did in Game 1, and I would expect still in Games 3 and 4 in Portland, are going to be able to put up points with the Golden State Warriors. Unfortunately, they had a bad game in this one. I don't think this is indicative of what's going to happen. Well, Golden State is still going to win the series. Portland is still going to get points, and they're going to be able to rebound. Rebound as in come back from this, not rebound as far as rebounding in the game when they move to Portland, and will put up points and possibly get a victory in one of those games. Now, for the Warriors, here's the thing. They put up 110 points. Steph Curry, 6 of 18 shooting. Was 4 of 12 from behind the arc with only 19 points. Klay Thompson, 6 of 17, 3 for 8 from behind the arc, 16 points. So that's 12 of 35 shooting between those two guys. Now, they mitigated a bit, 7 of 20, which is 35% between the both of them from behind three-point lines. So that, nudges it up a little. Remember, 33% shooting from 3 equals 50% from 2. So they clearly were shooting well enough from 3 to keep them in it, but they didn't play particularly well. Draymond Green only had 6 points. The bench, JaVale McGee was very impressive last night, 15 points plus 19. Ian Clark, 13 points. But you really look at it, no one went over 20 for the Golden State Warriors, and they still scored 110. Everybody who played scored at least 1 point, and 7 guys played off the bench, so 12 guys played total. Zaza Pachulia, 10 points, 5 of 8 shooting. McCall, who's in the starting lineup because Kevin Durant was not playing, 9 points. And look, Steph Curry plus 32. We just said Damian Lillard was minus 33. Plus 27 for McCall. Evan Turner was minus 14. Klay Thompson plus 29. CJ McCollum minus 26. So you see the numbers there. The guard play is really going in the favor of the Golden State Warriors. And they have 2 spectacular players. Steph Curry, 2-time defending MVP. Klay Thompson, all-NBA caliber performer. But it's not like CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard are scrubs. You would expect Golden State to win the backcourt matchup, throughout the series. But it's not. It wouldn't be surprising if Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum would be able to win that matchup in at least one game, and they were not able to here, as we said. So moving forward, let's see if Portland is able to find their offense. Again, I don't expect that to be much of an issue. It's going to come down to whether or not they can find their defense, because they and it's not like their defense was good because they gave up 110 points. Everybody scored, and no one scored 20 points. But they had really a chance where Steph Curry and Klay Thompson were a combined 12 of 35 shooting. Now, again, we talked about their three-point shots between the two of them, 7 for 20. That's good. That mitigates it a bit. But to lose by 29, when those two players didn't have their best game, no one scores 20. It's really a tall task for the Portland Trailblazers. There's also talk now that Kevin Durant may not even play the rest of this series against the Portland Trailblazers. He's dealing with some injury issues. And that's, a slap in the face to the Portland Trailblazers. It's just showing them no respect. But, obviously they believe it could be a bit of a coast in this regard. But this is the thing. I mean, and I don't even know if I said this when I did the resting video, but man, I've seen guys take games off in the playoffs as well. So don't, put it all on the regular season being too long, or these games in the regular season don't matter. And I mean, I'm not even calling into question. Kevin Durant may have been legitimately hurt where he couldn't go, but the impression I got was Steve Kerr. He said we didn't want to run the risk that it blows up. Whatever the injury was, I can't remember if it was. I think it was an ankle injury, but didn't want it to swell up or anything where it causes a problem. That's fine, that's fair enough. But like I said, I mean, I can remember a couple years ago when Dwayne Wade was on the Miami Heat, they weren't playing him in first round games. The Boston Celtics in 2012, Ray Allen, they gave a few games off. Now, Ray Allen was coming back from an injury, but most likely could have gone in those games, but they didn't want to play him. They didn't want to run the risk, and they didn't want to stretch these guys in the playoffs and give them rest in the playoffs. They're just, disguising it as, or not. I shouldn't say rest. They're not willing to put guys out there with injuries that they should be able to play through in the playoffs. They're not treating even playoff games that seriously, regardless of who the matchup is, regardless of how well you're handling the team, whether you're a 1-8 matchup where you have 26 more wins than the 8th place team. These are the playoffs. I don't like you doing it in the regular season. I certainly don't like you doing it in the playoffs. And I think that just, shreds the argument, well, the regular season games don't really mean anything. I think that's ridiculous because playoff games, I mean, some games have to mean something in this regard. So what, it's only finals games that matter? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it anymore, but it is what it is. That's the situation. All right, tonight we got some games for you. We got Cleveland, Indiana, Toronto, Milwaukee. Going to be interesting. I'm probably going to watch that game. And San Antonio, Memphis, see if Cleveland and Indiana, if Indiana can get back into things, as well as Memphis and Toronto and Milwaukee is turning out to be a good series, and I'd like to see how that crowd is in Milwaukee as the playoffs come back. So, all right, we'll be back later on with those recaps and what we can't do tonight. If we're not up late enough, we can come back and give them to you tomorrow, as we just did with these two games. Remember, we appreciate all subscriptions and shares as well. Thank you all so much, and we will see you later on tonight.